Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of United Talks podcast. If you're just joining us for the first time, please do like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as it relates to all things Manchester United. Today, we're going to be giving you transfer news and updates. This is the first time in a while, in about a week, but we just kind of try to curate everything, from the perspective of all of the transfers that are going on in the social media, in the media space. And we're going to talk about, a couple of other things, including the financial status of Man United. We're also going to talk about like the midfield revolution. I'm also going to talk about the interest in Roberto Martinez, that is the current Portugal national team manager or coach. So we will see how this goes, and we'll provide our final take in everything. But yeah, let's get right in. Let's get stuck in. So first thing on our list, now basically, everybody terms Man United as a sleeping giant. I saw a post on social media. One of the very prominent Chelsea fans said that Man United has been the worst, one of the worst top 6 teams in the last probably 10 years. And the truth is, when you think about it deeply, what's performing top 6 team the last 10 years, you will see some sense in it. But then if you are trying to be very measured and level-headed in the way you analyze. But the sleeping giant isn't just waking up. It's balancing the books and readying the war chest. And we're trying to see the positives. But then, I'll give you my take. Now, we've gone from a £3.9 million loss to a massive £32.9 million profit in just 6 months. But what does that mean for the summer? That's the question. We're looking at a full-blown transfer war for the next potential Roy Keane, a potential raid at Nottingham Forest as well. That's why Roy Keane is mentioned in this. And the burning question in the dugout: is Michael Carrick the long-term answer, or is an ex-Everton boss to take the reins? Roberto Martinez. So welcome to United Talks podcast. This is your deep dive into the state of the Man United empire, or the Red Empire. So thank you for joining. Let's get right in. Let's get stuck in. The first one is the financial turnaround. We're going to talk about this really quickly. Let's start with the dry numbers, because in football, dry numbers actually dictate our ceiling. So Omar Berrada has confirmed an operating profit of £32.6 million for the first half of the fiscal year. Now, to put that into perspective, this time last year, we're looking at a £3.9 million loss. Now, the shift in this is that this is the off-pitch transformation that Sir Jim Ratcliffe had promised. It's the result of a tough, necessary restructuring and headcount reductions. And that is pretty much as a result of, people that have been let go and all of those things, reducing the salary and all of those things. The reality is that while total revenues for the second quarter dipped slightly from 198.7 million to 190.7 million, the profitability is up and we are operating leaner, right? Which gives us the flexibility to hit the market hard this summer. The projection for this is that the club remains on track for full year revenue of between 640 to 660 million pounds. And this is a massive war chest, assuming we keep our eyes on the Champions League qualification. And I'm hearing that many players want to join Man United because of Champions League qualification. So there's a possibility that we could actually get to sign the players we want with Champions League qualification on the horizon. So we will observe, we'll keep our eyes peeled, and we'll make a note of what we actually want to achieve and all of that. But yeah, just walk with me, as we build momentum for this, just walk with me. Now, the second phase of this podcast is with regards to Midfield War. We're going to talk about this as well, like take some time to talk about it and analyze every midfielder. Now, let's talk business. I've had interesting conversations with people about the potential midfielders that Man United could be interested in and Man United should sign. We'll do a tactical analysis on some of those midfielders to kind of break down, things. But let's talk business. The injury room is the priority. Casemiro is heading for the exit, and his contract expires in July. And the search for his successor is turning into a battle of Manchester. Now, the first one on the list that everybody is talking about is Elliot Anderson. I don't think Elliot Anderson is Man United's replacement for Casemiro. Elliot Anderson is totally different. If we're going to do a specific player profile on Elliot Anderson much later, I will show you the heat map of Elliot Anderson from the game that they just played against Fenerbahce that I just watched a few minutes ago, and Bruno Fernandes, and you will see similarities in that player. Bruno Fernandes is basically an Elliot Anderson kind of type of player. I mean, Elliot Anderson is a Bruno Fernandes type of player, just a younger version, very athletic. He's all over the pitch. He does the dirty work as well as, creating chances, right? Now, Nottingham Forest, he's a top target. Obviously, he's on the lips of everyone. And Nottingham Forest have slapped in 85 to 100 million pound price tag on him, or valuation on him. And Ineos is reportedly willing to break our all-time transfer record of 89.3 million that we paid for Paul Pogba in 2016 to secure him. That's 89.3 million pounds, to secure him. Now, the competition is that Manchester City is hunting for a Rodri replacement. And Anderson is their man too. And it's a classic tug of war. But when you think about it, they already have Nico. I think Nico Gonzalez. So why would they want an Elliot Anderson? You obviously know it's because of squad depth, right? So they want to secure him. They want to, get him to fill in that spot. But I think you're kind of getting a midfielder, an all-round midfielder in Elliot Anderson, who can play as a defensive midfielder, central midfielder, and an attacking midfielder. But he's more of a central midfielder. He's very box-to-box, very box-to-box. I've watched him of several games, and I've kind of, compared. The eye test doesn't lie. Even the stats too don't lie. Now, Man City want him, but the alternative is that we're not putting our eggs in one basket. You have a Carlos Baleba in Brighton. Most people are losing faith because he's slowly getting less and less minutes. Brighton's price tag of him is from 100 million to around 70 million pounds. But obviously, Man United are not going to want to put their money in that deal, seeing as his form has dropped and all of that. But sources suggest that Ineos sees him as the closest stylistic successor to Casemiro. And the truth is, the eye test, the stats don't lie when it comes to that. They see him as the stylistic successor to Casemiro. Then there is the Hayden Hackney situation. Hayden Hackney valued at around 30 million pounds, which I'm not so opposed to at all. Now, why the link? Michael Carrick. Having worked together at Middlesbrough, the recruitment team, knows that he fits the system. So Hayden Hackney, Carlos Baleba, Elliot Anderson. And now, the next one is Pape Gueye. He's the Villarreal star and African Cup of Nations winner and is also on the radar. A very interesting physical and disciplined option. Pape Gueye is a player that I admired a lot, but I think he's 26 now. And he has a wand of a left foot. He shoots from outside the box a lot. Is he the guy that we can? Yeah. Well, we shall continue to observe. I think it's 26. Maybe we should just quickly check this together, so we will know what we're talking about. So I'm just gonna quickly have a look at Pape Gueye. Then we will kind of get a sense of an idea of the player that he is. So I looked at him during the AFCON and I was like, this guy is such a good guy. Maybe we should go for him. So Pape Gueye is, I said, yeah, 27. I remember seeing him. He's 27. He's valued at 25 million euros, so a cheaper option. His value has been rising since like 2018, 2017. His average rating on FOPMOB is around 7 or 7.0. He's got 3 goals, 1 assist, and he started 15 games. Like I said, he's 27, right? He's been playing, you know, a lot for Villarreal, and he shoots a lot. You can see where his average positioning is. But yeah, it's just Pap. He's 27. He plays as a DM, CM, and a left midfielder. So yeah, here's what it is. He was absolutely amazing in the AFCON. Yeah, he was absolutely amazing in the AFCON. Anyway, so Pape Gueye, physical, disciplined option, plays as CM and a DM. We actually need a proper DM. So there's another midfielder I prepared a script a long time ago to work on, but I've not really had the time to record. But this one came on and I felt like you guys need to know. So the next segment is the Forest trade. So still speaking of midfielders and the interest that Man United have in players. You're looking at Nottingham Forest like a candy shop right now, you know. But let's be careful, you know. We don't want to overpay for players if we're going to Nottingham Forest. Morgan Gibbs-White is the name on everyone's list. And I can see the logic in that. Morgan Gibbs-White is, I think, 24, 25. I watched him at... Wolves? And I know, yeah, he was at Wolves. Yeah. He was at Wolves and he went to Swansea and back at Wolves again. And his stock has been rising since like 2020, 2021. Since 2018 anyway. He plays as an attacking midfielder. He can play as a central midfielder as well. He can play as a right winger. And he has played as a false nine or a striker. He wears the number 10 shirt. This season he's scored 6 goals and 2 assists. And he started 26 games out of 27. 2,304 minutes, but he didn't play against Fenerbahce. He played 6 minutes against Fenerbahce under new manager Vitor Pereira. He played against Fenerbahce 67 minutes, got 1 goal and an assist in that game when they won 3-0. He played against Liverpool. They lost 0-1. When you look at him, his profile of player is quite aggressive. He's the bane of Man United existence most times. He always scores goals against Man United. He takes shots from outside the box. He has 57 shots, and from 57 shots, he has 6 goals. And all of that. His XG is 7.01, so he should be scoring more. All greens on his stats per 90 and everything. But not all greens, but there's some yellows. But the thing is, for Morgan Gibbs-White, Mateusz Cunha has called him a very good player, a player that he likes and his friends. And all of those things. So, yeah, some good games. I'm not downplaying his ability. This is not me downplaying his ability. I'm just he's 26. I'm just kind of questioning the idea behind Morgan Gibbs-White and the link. I'm also of the opinion that even if we're getting him, he's contracted to 2028. Even if we're getting him, maybe because he's Prem proven, the pressure of Man United is not the easy one, man. It's not the easy one. But for getting him, I wouldn't be opposed to that. But I'm not going to be getting Morgan Gibbs-White as the main guy, right? Looking at his career that we talked about, like I was telling you that I kind of watched him at Wolves. I think he even scored against us in Wolves when he played in Wolves. This was like 2022-23 season and also 21-22 season. Then he went to Sheffield and came back. So, yeah, and then from Wolves was sold to Nottingham Forest. He's been there. He's been really there. Started from the Wolves Academy proper, like 2016-17. So, it is what it is. Morgan Gibbs-White is not... It's not a player I'll go to if we're looking for like a midfielder, but it is what it is. But we're gonna analyze. So, basically, there's a name on everybody's list. Is that maybe... Everybody's number 10 and reportedly has an £80 million release clause for Champions League clubs. And that's where Man United comes in. The Forest factor is that if they go down, those players will leave. And Murillo is also a target with a £50 million price tag. And I think he's also a target for Chelsea. Then you have the Sangare updates, and I've not brought Sangare to the fore in the conversation, but we will bring you an update, right? So for Sangare, don't get too excited, especially with Ibrahim Sangare yet. Fabrizio Romano has poured cold water on that situation. A few days ago, a lot of people started talking about Martinez interest in Sangare, but obviously Fabrizio Romano has poured cold water on that, saying that nothing concrete, and sometimes the noise is just noise. So the question I want to ask you guys is grabbing both Gibbs White and Anderson a pipe dream, or is this a statement of intent that we've been waiting for since the Glazer era began? I would not be opposed to Elliot Anderson. I just watched him and I've officially said I want Elliot Anderson. Like, I've officially said I want Elliot Anderson. I was not really sold on him. I've been watching him. Any games that Forest play, I watch just to see how he performs. And I'm going to prepare a proper in-depth analysis on Elliot Anderson with my research, with heat maps. I'm just going to use heat maps of like the last 2 or 3 games just to give you a sense of an idea of the kind of player that he is. But yeah, so enough with the midfielders. These are the visible loopholes in the midfield and defense. Now we're going to talk about the managerial puzzle. I've been doing, I think, a couple series on managers, and I did one for Jurgen Klopp. I did one for Jurgen Klopp. I did one for Julian Nagelsmann. And I did the one for, I think I was going to do the one for Thomas Tuchel, but that was out the window now and all of that. We talked about Michael Carrick as well. We talked about other managers I can't even remember. So, the managerial puzzle never ceases to end. Michael Carrick has us sitting 4th. Yep. He's won 5 of his last 6 games. Yep. And the football is, well, let's be honest, it's actually fun to watch because of the result. But Ben Jacobs is reporting that United have held internal talks about Roberto Martinez. Just internal talks. Now, when you look at Martinez's CV, he won the FA Cup with Wigan. I remember that season. He won the FA Cup with Wigan. I think I remember was there a certain Obafemi Martins at Wigan, or it was Birmingham that had Obafemi Martins. Yeah, we're gonna have a quick one because I remember that season. I remember that season a lot. Like, it's very clear. Let me just quickly. Yeah, did Obafemi Martins play for? Play for Wigan? Yeah. No, yeah. So it was not that season. Then it was Birmingham. Obafemi Martins played for Birmingham. Yeah, it's Birmingham City. And Birmingham actually were playing the FA Cup when they got relegated and all of that. Yeah, I still remember now. So, I mean, the colours are confusing anyway. So he won the FA Cup with Wigan, guided Everton to a 5th place finish, and has had success with Portugal. No doubt at all. But, you know, international football is totally different, right? But the Bruno factor is what connects this to Man United. Martinez recently called Bruno Fernandes unfairly assessed, and the leader of United is he. I mean, basically, he says that Bruno Fernandes was unfairly assessed and that he is the leader of United. Now, my question to you all, like, is he basically auditioning for the job? I mean, it's a fascinating narrative for us to see. It's one that we can actually just say, you know what's the rationale behind it? Is it his national team coaching resume or coaching pedigree that we're using to judge him as a manager that would potentially coach Man United? So let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section about that. It's quite a fascinating narrative to talk about. Now, the defensive and midfield depth is what, you know, we've been talking about and what links it to Martinez. Regardless of who is in the dugout, we definitely need bodies, right? We definitely need bodies, regardless of who is in the dugout. We talked about Sangare. We talked about Elliot Anderson. We didn't even talk about Adam Wharton. We will talk about him when there's an update. But we talked about so many other players. We need at least 3 midfielders. 3 midfielders. World class or best in class or Premier League proven midfielders that can actually help us overhaul our midfield. Our midfield is thin and is the thinnest in the midfield in the Premier League. No depth whatsoever and all of that. So we need midfielders. But then also we also need defenders. And obviously Tyrick Mitchell is being scouted to support Luke Shaw at 30. And Adam Wharton is the standout for progressive passing when it comes to bodies. So, like I said, we haven't talked deeply about Adam Wharton. There's not so much of an update. It's just one-liners that I see in those news outlets. And then same for Tyrick Mitchell was a one-liner as well. So no big deal with all of that. Now, the extras and basically the final thoughts on all of this. Before we go, here's some rapid fire updates. First and foremost, Pio Esposito, a monstrous offer is being considered for 20-year-old Inter Milan striker. We will see how that goes. Andrew Onana wants to come back. He wants to be back. He wants back, but the feeling at the club is that he's not in the plans. He wants to come and fight for his place. Everybody's having PTSD from Andrew Onana. And everybody's saying we don't want him back. The next one is Marcus Rashford as well. Marcus, rumors keep swirling about a role change or a move to Barcelona. Basically, a lot of updates and rumors are coming out with regards to Marcus Rashford and things around, the transfer and the contract and everything. So let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section about that. I mean, it feels like we are at crossroads. The club is finally acting like a business again. But like I said, is the club actually, or are the owners of this club actually so ambitious? Because if they're ambitious, they should be able to. They should not be sleeping on players like Elliot Anderson. They should not be sleeping on players like Hayden Hackney. They should not be sleeping on players like Adam Wharton. Even Mateus Fernandes of West Ham is another player that we should not be sleeping on. Right. We should just be going for these players, putting in plans in place to get like 3 players of these midfielders I mentioned. And one standout defensive midfielder to kind of help out in this Casemiro replacement thing, right? So, like I said, it feels like we're at crossroads, and obviously the club is trying to act as a business again. Prudent, calculated, yet aggressive. And if we had to choose between paying 100 million for an elite English talent like Anderson or splitting the budget on 2 younger developing stars like Hackney and Wharton, what are you doing? That's my question to you all. What are you doing? Let me know in the comment section. Who are you going for? Or do we go for... I looked at Hayden Hackney, even watched him play and the eye test with regards to his position in the field and the heat map, and it gives you that central midfield, attacking midfield role kind of player. He plays as part of a 2. He's your progressor of the ball. He's very athletic. He's doing well with Middlesbrough right now. Is he the player we want? I mean, if it's 30 million, I wouldn't object to that at all, right? He's developing. I think he's 25, right? So Hackney or Wharton. I said Wharton. Get both. Anyway, what are you doing, guys? Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. And also let me know, what you think about Roberto Martinez and all of that. Now, we've got a massive game against Crystal Palace on Sunday. Ineos will be watching the pitch and the opposition players. So stay locked in. Stay locked to United Talks podcast for the fallout on everything. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Put in the comment section as well your thoughts so that you don't miss anything as it relates to Manchester United. As always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. I'll see you on the next one. Take care, goodbye, and God bless.